Welcome to my channel, English Stories Hub. Ava had always believed California beaches were loud, crowded, and predictable. Golden Beach was supposed to be different, or so the old travel blog promised. She arrived just before sunset, her car humming softly as the ocean breeze slipped through the open window. The sand shimmered like it had been sprinkled with real gold, and for a moment she laughed under her breath, haha, thinking the name was just clever marketing. She had come alone, which felt strange and freeing at the same time. No one to ask where she was going, no one to tell her to slow down. Just Ava, her worn-out sneakers, and a heart still bruised from a life that hadn't gone the way she planned. She kicked off her shoes and let the cool sand swallow her feet. Oh, it felt good, too good, like the beach had been waiting for her. Golden Beach wasn't empty, but it was quiet. A few couples walked hand in hand near the water. A child chased seagulls, laughing so hard he tripped, and his mother scooped him up, kissing his sandy cheeks. Ava watched, her chest tightening. She turned away quickly, blinking at the horizon as the sun dipped lower. She noticed it then, something half buried near the rocks. At first she thought it was driftwood, but the shape was wrong, too smooth, too deliberate. Ava hesitated, then walked closer, brushing sand aside with her fingers. It was a small metal box, old and scratched, with a rusted latch that resisted when she tugged at it. Her heart started beating faster. She looked around, suddenly aware of how alone she was. No one seemed to notice her. The waves rolled in and out, whispering like they knew a secret. Ava laughed nervously. Ha ha ha, this was ridiculous. She wasn't some movie character, but curiosity won. It always did. The latch snapped open. Inside were yellowed letters tied with a faded blue ribbon and a single black and white photograph. The photo showed a young couple standing on this very beach, smiling like the world hadn't hurt them yet. On the back, written in shaky ink, were the words, Golden Beach, 1978. We promised. Ava's throat tightened. She sat down hard in the sand, the box resting in her lap like it weighed 1,000 pounds. She unfolded one letter carefully. The handwriting was messy but full of emotion. Words pressed too close together, as if the writer was afraid of running out of time. I don't know if you'll ever read this, it began. Ava swallowed. The wind picked up, lifting her hair, and for a moment she felt like she was intruding on something sacred. She should put it back, she should leave, but her hands trembled as she read on. The letter spoke of love, of promises made at sunset, of something that went terribly wrong. Tears blurred her vision, and one escaped, sliding down her cheek and landing on the page. She wiped her face quickly, embarrassed even though no one was watching. The sun disappeared completely, leaving the beach bathed in orange and purple shadows. Ava hugged the box to her chest. Whatever this was, it wasn't random. Golden Beach had given her a story, and she could feel it pulling her in, deeper than she ever expected. The mystery had just begun, and Ava knew walking away was no longer an option. Ava barely slept that night. The letters sat on the small motel desk, untouched but impossible to ignore. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the smiling couple from the photograph, frozen in a moment before everything fell apart. She laughed softly in the dark, ha ha ha, at herself. She had come to Golden Beach to clear her head, not to inherit someone else's heartbreak. Morning light spilled through the curtains. Ava brewed weak motel coffee and finally allowed herself to read all the letters. They told a story of two young Californians, Lily and Thomas, deeply in love and desperate to escape expectations that felt too heavy. Golden Beach was their refuge, the place where they planned to run away together. But one letter was different, short, shaky. It spoke of an argument, a misunderstanding, and a meeting that never happened. Ava's chest ached as she read the final line. If you don't come, I'll understand, but I'll always wait for you here. Ah. She folded the letter and stared out the window. How many people had waited on this beach for someone who never came? The thought made her stomach twist. She returned to Golden Beach that afternoon, letters tucked safely in her bag. The tide was low, revealing dark rocks and tide pools filled with tiny, darting fish. Ava walked slowly, imagining Lily sitting right where she stood, scanning the horizon, heart pounding with hope and fear. An older man sat on a bench near the boardwalk, feeding crumbs to the birds. Ava hesitated, then approached him. She didn't know why, but something told her to ask. She mentioned the old letters, the names. His hand froze midair. Lily, he repeated quietly, his eyes filled with something heavy and old. He laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Ha ha ha. I haven't heard that name spoken out loud in decades. He told Ava his name was Henry. Lily had been his sister. Thomas was the love of her life. The day they planned to run away, a storm hit. Thomas was in an accident on the highway. He survived, but by the time he made it to Golden Beach, Lily was gone. She thought he had abandoned her. He thought she'd changed her mind. Ava listened, hands clenched in her lap, heartbreaking with every word. Henry wiped his eyes roughly, staring at the ocean like it still owed him answers. Lily moved away soon after, never returning to Golden Beach. She passed away years later, still believing she'd been left behind. Silence stretched between them. A seagull cried overhead. Ava felt tears roll freely now, no point hiding them. She laughed through the sobs, ha ha ha, at how unfair life looked from this angle. What happened to Thomas? Ava finally asked. Henry sighed. He comes here sometimes, still waits, I think. Some people never stop. Ava felt something shift inside her, a quiet determination, warm and terrifying. She looked at the ocean, then back at Henry. The story wasn't finished, not yet. And Ava realized she might be the missing piece that fate had waited decades to send. Finding Thomas wasn't easy, but Golden Beach had a way of guiding those who listened. Ava returned every evening, watching the shoreline, feeling ridiculous and hopeful all at once. Ha ha ha, she had become part of the mystery now. On the fourth night, she saw him. An elderly man standing alone near the rocks, staring at the water like it might answer him if he waited long enough. Ava approached slowly, heart racing. She introduced herself and mentioned Lily. His shoulders shook. He laughed softly, a broken sound, then covered his face. Tears slipped through his fingers. Ava waited, giving him space, the ocean filling the silence. They sat together on the sand as Ava showed him the letters. Thomas traced Lily's handwriting like it might disappear. He smiled, awe at memories that still lived so clearly in his eyes. He wept openly, not bothering to hide it. The beach didn't judge. It never did. She waited, he whispered. All this time she waited. Ava shook her head gently. So did you. The sun dipped low, painting the sky gold again. Thomas stood with effort and walked closer to the water, holding the letters against his chest. He spoke softly, words meant for Lily, carried away by the waves. Ava stepped back, giving him that moment, her own tears falling freely. Something felt lighter when he returned, not fixed, not perfect, but lighter. Thomas thanked Ava, his voice steady in a way it hadn't been before. He smiled, truly smiled, and for the first time, Golden Beach felt peaceful. Ava walked away slowly, heart full and aching. She realized she hadn't come here by accident. Some stories choose their readers. Some endings need witnesses. But Ava's journey wasn't over, because Golden Beach had one final lesson waiting for her. On her last morning, Ava stood barefoot at the shoreline, waves licking her toes. She laughed quietly, he ha ha, thinking about how she arrived broken and guarded. Now she felt raw, open and strangely hopeful. Golden Beach had shown her love that endured misunderstandings, time and silence. It had shown her pain that lingered when words went unsaid. Ava breathed deeply, letting the ocean air fill her lungs. She thought about her own life, the people she'd pushed away, the apologies she never finished. Tears welled up again, but this time they felt cleansing. She wiped her face and smiled through them. As she turned to leave, she buried the metal box back where she found it, empty now, its purpose fulfilled. The sand covered it gently, like a promise kept at last. Ava walked toward her car, heart heavy but alive. Golden Beach shimmered behind her, holding countless stories still waiting to be found. She whispered a thank you to the ocean and drove away, knowing some mysteries don't exist to haunt us, but to heal us. And as the road stretched ahead, Ava understood that sometimes finding someone else's story helps you finally begin your own. Moral of the story is, silence can wound deeper than truth, leaving love trapped in unanswered moments. Real connection survives time only when courage replaces fear. Sometimes healing your own heart begins by helping someone else find closure. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel, like, share, comment on my video. Bye guys.